Was good with it. In the hood with it. Back with another reaction. We're about to get rid of the real deal Holyfield, man. With 2 ears, right? We're talking about part two of the wood. Yes, the real wood. Not to say it with your chest, Westwood. We're talking about a real guy who, and real recognizes real steel sharpens steel. When you come across somebody on YouTube and you recognize that they've been where they say they've been, they've done what they say they've done, you could just tell by the intelligence and the way they carry themselves, then you must react, right? A lot of people want to react and they want to talk a whole lot of masa. They want to talk a whole lot of basically bad about people. And that's part of reacting, calling it how you see it, whatever you see. But this guy, I kind of wanted to watch with you guys because I agree with so much that he says. Definitely, I had to do a part two on this wood. It's just as real as it gets, man. This is a Big Herc. Shout out to Big Herc, the Panda Man himself. This is an interview that he done with him a while back. And I just wanted to bring it to your guys' play. And let's watch it together and let's react a little bit, man. This is the wood. The real. Sprinkle them in, brother. You know how I feel about your woods, brother. Part two. Let's get it in, man. This guy's real as they come.
Check, get into the joint, and you come in, you're getting booked in. Right off the top, are they checking paperwork?
Not really, man. Like not right then and there.
Okay.
Pretty much, man. Especially it depends on where you go and what yard, man. If you're going to a lower yard, it's kind of not. They're not really checking hard paperwork.
Okay.
You go into a bigger yard, you're going to the central unit, the walls, or you're going to one of these high floor yards. They already know you're coming before you get in. You got some dirt on you, man, they're gonna know it.
You can't, ain't no hiding behind that shit.
There's no hiding.
So you.
And I agree with them absolutely. On the lower yards, and I'm speaking state-wise, he's speaking federal, but it's the same thing in the state. Level 1s, level 2s, they might check paperwork depending on what group you're from, but at the same time, man, everyone's just trying to go home. Everyone's short timing. People are not trying to really politic and play the role and play the game. There are some places I remember as an active northerner when I was active that I couldn't go to. Yards that just weren't reasonable to go to. Let's put it like that. You couldn't just show up and show out. You had to show out if you showed up. If you understand what I'm saying, man, you had to get off where you were mad at. And that's just based on, that's just the way they wanted it. That's just the way it was, man. And you weren't going to question whoever told you that's the way it was going to be. So he's definitely right. He's speaking from the white perspective, from the woods perspective. Let's not get it twisted, brother. Saying American History X, right? He's speaking from the woods perspective, and it's definitely like that, man. As you go into the lower yards, the 1s and 2s, it's going to be a lot different from, say, the 3s and 4s, or like he says, the walls or the central yards in federal prison. Federal prison is much different from state prison. Anyone who ever done state, they'll tell you it's grimy, it's political, it is what it is. And anyone who's done feds, you got a little bit of more. I think it's probably a little bit more dangerous because you got people in all different aspects and areas. You got people from New York, Chicago, California, Texas, Arizona, whatever the case may be, and people are really getting it in. So you have all these different flavors, all these different vibes and attitudes, man, to deal with. And if you're not traditionally up on game and educated into what happens, say, on the East Coast, if you're in the West and vice versa, it can get ugly fast. Guard! I said it could get ugly fast. Let's get into it. Look at Big Herc on Swoleization.
You did time in California and Arizona?
No, I did time in Arizona, and then I did fed time in Texas and Arizona.
Okay, and what would you say was the major difference between doing time in Arizona State and the feds?
Night and day. It's night and day, man. The feds is, especially in a pen. When you're doing time in a pen, man, it's they're playing for keeps, man. There's no room for error.
Yeah, there's no playing messing around.
Nah, man. It's live. It's super live. I'm not saying the state ain't live, but it's not like the feds, man. The feds, it's knives. You mess up, man. They're gonna put holes in you, and they're taking you out in a body bag, or at least they're trying to.
And I, everything that I've ever heard of the feds, having not gone to federal prisons, I agree. Like I said, and I just said it, fill me up with unleaded right before this. When you go to a place that you're not knowledgeable of, or a place where there's so many different people, so many different ethnicities, so many different groups and gangs, politics are all over the place. So there is no room for error. Just like man, I like this guy right here. This is a real wood, brother. Skin, stand up. I agree with him totally 100%. He's not even off base a little bit. He's as real as they come because he thinks like I think. And I know I'm thinking the right way, an educated way, of author who's really done that. When he's talking about they play for keeps, it's knife play. You'll get flown out in a body bag if you make one discrepancy, one wrong move. That's facts, man. The state, now don't get it twisted. You can get poked in the state too a little bit, right? But the feds, they ain't playing, man. Look at Big Herc. He's getting apprehensive around this cat. He's like, this is a real wood, brother. I thought it's all pretty tat.
And what spot were you at in the feds as far as USPs? And
Beaumont, Texas.
Beaumont, Texas. And what was Beaumont like?
Bloody Beaumont.
Beaumont was what it's called, Bloody Beaumont, man. It was the Thunderdome. When I was there in '05, I mean '05, '06, and '07, it was literally called the Thunderdome because so many people were getting butchered there, man. It was live.
So in Beaumont, pretty much the USP was, everybody clicked up. I mean, I know at the USPs, it's a lot more serious. What chow line you go through, where how you program on the yard, everything's like on a whole nother serious level.
Yeah, it's all cliques. And when you go into a pen, usually if you're going to a pen, it's because you're involved in some kind of gang activity, right? And
So, for those of you that don't know, let me give you a little knowledge you can't get in college. Let me put you up on a little bit of gang, right? There's FCIs, which is the Federal Correctional Institutions, kind of lower levels. A lot of real people go there, but it's a lot different from a United States penitentiary. A penitentiary behind walls, right? When you have a correctional institution that's behind fences, when you have a penitentiary, it's usually behind walls. That's where they put the most murderous, bloodiest, vicious type characters. And like he says, if you go into these prisons, it's because you're clicked up or you're an associate or they're identifying you as, and they want to validate people. They'll validate them, put them in these certain places. And they can keep their eye on them. They're more confined. The more vicious you are, the more dangerous you are to society, they're going to confine you more. That's just the nature of the beast. That's part of the game. So he definitely went there. That means he was really about something, or they thought he was about something. Let's hear his story. I can't tell it like he can.
And then especially if you're in the hierarchy, you're definitely going to a pen, right? And it's definitely, they do it, it's like by cars. You call it your car.
Okay.
What car
Well,
are
I'm
you in, you know what I mean? So you'll have different skinhead cliques will run under one dude. You know what I mean? Even though we're all from different cliques, we run under one dude.
Okay.
I knew you were a skin brother.
If they're on the yard, which is very few, then a lot of the dudes will answer, the white boys will answer to them. You got different cliques for every car. I mean, there's so many different, probably 20 different white gangs, 15 different Mexican gangs, all on one yard. Every clique you could think of is on that yard.
And
that is a horrible situation to be in. Because you have so many different people thinking so many different ways, so many different politics. Some people might condone drug usage where some don't. Some might condone chirujos where some don't. Some might be strict and very regimental or very militant. Some are a little bit looser. They like to horseplay and sex play or whatever the case may be. When you got that many different minds and that many different groups and organizations on one yard, it's going to be chaos. It's going to be guerra. It's going to be an upset for somebody, a win and a loss, and a lot of losses because every group is dangerous in their own right. Every group got hitters. Every group that's locked up, man, is about that business. Whether you consider them the enemigo, the enemiga, however you call it, and you don't think they're about it, man, you better respect that gangster because they'll put some holes in you. Look at Big Hurt.
and in Beaumont, as far as like what were most of the incidents over? Because I know in most of the spots I was at, drugs, somebody owing somebody, gambling, what I mean? It's usually always some money involved when it comes to somebody getting stabbed or the TV sometimes too, but, stupid shit like that. But
Don't
I know
touch our
a lot
TV.
of times, people wonder like what happened. Well, somebody owes somebody on the yard and it, crosses, bury, cliques and then it goes down.
Yeah, it's always that. It's exactly what it is, man. I've been in one riot over a TV room, but that was like not really big. But then I've been in riots over dudes owing other dudes calling dudes problems. In the feds, there's no hands-on policy, meaning that like if
I just did a video on my channel called No Hands On Policy for the Norteños, and that's how it was. And in the feds, he's saying the exact same thing. Man, me and this guy could sit down and have a cup of chenate and just really talk, right? In real life, and I don't even drink coffee, but that's how real he is. Because I know them woods like that Taster's Choice and that Keefy, brother, right? I'm going to tell you straight up, no hands policies. Meaning that, and I'm going to reiterate it again for those of you that haven't watched that video, make sure you tap in Gunners Collective. We getting it in over there just a little bit. I said a little bit. Guard, I said a little bit. Or a lot of bit of a little bit, right? But one thing is for sure, what this guy's about to tell you about no hands policies, I've actually went through on the yards where you get a dictation, you get a huila or a kite, a paloma, a cana, whatever you want to call it. I'm giving you too much game. And, there's no hands policy, man. It's all weaponry. Stick someone, stab someone, do whatever you got to do. Whatever is told to you, whatever is basically. I'm not gonna say you have to do it, but it's advised. Let's get into it.
I could put hands on you. You're black, I'm white.
Yeah.
It's no hands-on policy,
That's
man.
right, yeah.
You know what I mean? So your own dudes take care of you, my dudes take care of me. I've seen it once in a federal system that where a black and a white dude got it in, and that was okayed by the whole yard.
Okay.
But normally it's you're dealing with your own race.
Absolutely.
And it's drugs, gambling debts, something you did in your past that you're hiding from that they find out about it because they find out about it. You know what I mean? In the feds, they're stabbing you, man. They're not beating you. They're stabbing you.
Yeah, because I've seen it where they've had guys that be on the yard, and it's like, this is big so-and-so, but then somebody else comes and be like, hey, do it at another spot, and immediately he went from being all good to all bad. I mean, it's like, dude, it's no, hey, man, we're friends. It ain't none of that shit.
You're definitely not friends. You're definitely not friends, Big Herc. Trip out. And I'm just clowning, man. Or am I? One never knows, does one. But one thing I do know that's facts is he said absolutely, he made total sense right there, man. And I'm speaking on Big Herc. Someone could come in from Yarda and everyone thinks he's good, man. He's solid as the homie. He's a righteous one. He's good. And then someone comes from another yard with papeles on him, paperwork, that he was all bad over there, man. He's trying to wiggle, right? And the wiggleization was real just for a little while, right? And then it gets ugly fast. I mean very fast, meaning next yard fast. You can only skate by, but the cream rises to the top, brother. Oh yeah, dig it, Macho Man. Oh brother, right? It definitely, you will be found out. If you have any smut, any dirt on your name, it's only a matter of time before it all rises to the top and people blow you off. And that's a fact. And when I say blow you off, no Cheeto, who's not weird stuff. I'm talking about blow the cream off the top, and that's it. And then you're no longer on the yard.
Shit. It's like a switch. It's like a switch.
Don't matter how close you are to somebody, man. You get on that yard, man, and you got something bad in your past, nothing you can do to save them.
Have you seen where there was somebody that was among your particular card, and then somebody found out something, and it just turned sour real fast?
Yeah, many times. Many times where I've even had to go after my own homeboys that I've known for a long time just because of something I didn't know that they had in them that came out later, man.
And that's as real as it gets, and as treacherous as it gets, and as sad as it gets. Gente, when you have to go after your own people that you rocked with, maybe sold up with, broke bread with, ate a sopa, your last sopa. You want a micha? That means half, for those of you that don't know. Refer to the Gunner Handbook, right? You break them off a micha, that's half of everything you have. Everything you have is them, and whatever they have is you. That's the way it's supposed to be. Somos canales, somos brothers, man. Straight up, you rock together, canalismo. And then when you find out your homeboy's all bad, he done told on someone in the past, or he done did some wild stuff, man, then it's instilled in you to handle your business. And most times you want to. It hurts your heart, man, but at the end of the day, you puncture his. Bang, bang.
It's happened many times.
Damn.
And it's not nice.
Yeah.
You're trying to kill a dude, man, and he's your homeboy because of something he did that's on the yard that they know he did, and you can't get away from it.
It's just what it is.
It is what it is, man.
It is what it is.
See, that's what's crazy, man, that, people don't understand. And, even, you think you can go somewhere and you can get away from it. This shit follows you in the system.
The wiggleization.
I know dudes, guys, they can check your YA record. Dudes get on the phone and check out, and see what you were about in YA, or have their girl look up your paperwork on the street to see if you're lying. Because if the dude don't like you and he thinks there's something weird about you, he'll go and say, hey, man, look up this dude and see what he really did time for.
And you know what? And to go further, man,
And he's definitely right. Big Herc is definitely right, man. People, if they take a disliking to you or they see something funny style with you, man, they'll definitely look into your past. And if you have any skeletons hidden in your closet, where they're going to rip those right up out there, R. Kelly, aren't they?
I've seen it happen where dude who had a little bit of level, not too much level, but he had a little level up there, you know what I mean? He was running a yard. He wasn't big somebody, but he had a level. And he had a homeboy from the streets that he didn't like, and he had his girl make up fake paperwork.
Oh, shit.
Fake paperwork, man. And the dude ended up getting smashed on the yard.
Wow.
Right? So, there's no room for error, man. When people go to prison, man, you're playing for real, man. Especially when you're going in these higher yards. Man.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? A 3 yard is iffy, depending on where it's at, right? 4 and 5 yards, you know what time it is, man.
Yeah.
You're playing for keeps.
100% absolutely right. And I've seen it the same thing, man. People will make fake paperwork. They'll get so cutthroatish, cutthroat committee on them, on gang, they say. People are not playing, man. If they take a disliking to you, you messed with their old lady in the past, they think that you're somebody that you're not, they'll definitely smut you up, man. That seems to happen on YouTube all the time, even with me. Stay getting smutted up, stay getting hated on. And at the end of the day, it's up to me to prove my point or to disprove their point. And that's just facts, man. That's part of life. When people hate you because they ain't you, they're going to tend to do whatever they can to put a stranglehold on you. You got to reverse it on them, Chicano style. Let's get into this.
Wow. That's that's some serious shit. And like you said, man, you gotta. I tell people, man, it's like a chess game because you gotta know who likes you and who doesn't, and then who maybe is an undercover hater but ain't exposed themselves yet because these people, they'll try to find ways to get at you.
Yeah, no, they definitely will, man. It happens all the time, man. You got dudes that just they want that fame, man, and so they'll lie their whole story up, man, and then once something happens, truth comes out, nobody, you know what I mean? And they're getting hurt off the yard. You can be a somebody and go to nobody like that, that quick.
What was like an incident that?
That's actual factual, man. He spoke on it in a real light. You could go from somebody to nobody, just like that, in the drop of a dime, or because you dropped a dime. I mean, it just gets ugly fast. The best thing to do in a situation like that is just stay on your P's and Q's, man. Dot your I's and cross your T's, and hope that it doesn't come for you. Hope that you don't look at someone too tough in the eye that can push an agenda. I've seen things where people got people whacked off the yard, and then they were able to come back because they found out it was no good, and then now that guy's getting whacked. I mean, it just gets ugly fast, and it's up to you to kind of stay out the way, kind of blend in. That's why a lot of these guys that want to be put on frontline status want to be that one, man. It doesn't end up too well for them because you're shining too much light and bringing too much attention to yourself, and nobody likes someone who's like that, and that's just facts,
Resulted in you having to go to the hole while you were there in Beaumont.
Oh, man. Beaumont, we had a dude on the yard, man. He was claiming that he was running the whole yard, right? And nobody in Beaumont runs a whole yard. It's run by cars. Each car, like the West Coast car, we all clicked up together. East Coast car clicked up together. You know what I mean? You had the Texas car. You had different cars for different races. So, like, nobody ran it. Everybody would, like, kind of, like a council of the group. So this dude's in the whole talking about how he's running all the cars. And he's the top dude. And he's the man and just running his mouth, man. And so word comes out to the yard, and they're like, hey, man, so we're going to get him when we come out. So we need 3 people to go. You know what I mean?
And that's definitely how it is, man. That's why when you want to be the big bad wolf, the little piggies might huff and puff and blow your house down. You might be the one in the brick mansion getting your bricks blown down, right? When you're trying to be somebody that you're not, stop. Stop already. Just be yourself, man. That's a word of the day. Yourself. Be yourself. Don't teleport into someone's imagination or their living room while they're doing something crazy, right? Just don't do none of that. Just be yourself. Be the man that you were born to be, and you'll get a lot more respect. Look what he had to do.
Just got on the yard. I'd been there maybe a month, and I wanted the other skinheads to know that, like, if I'm going to go, when I tell you to go, you better go, right? So I'm showing them leading them by going first. And so I went with 2 other dudes, and we just, we put some serious damage to this dude, man, just so get him off the yard.
Yeah, man. Removals, man.
Did you see a putty tat?
It's got to be removed, man. It ain't nothing nice, man.
No, it isn't, man. And the worst part about it, man, is like, for me, I'd say, is like changing my life now. You know what I mean? To where.
Yeah, and I see where he's going with this. You have to reflect back to some of the misdeeds or some of the gruesome things or the dangerous things or the treacherous things you had to do, man. When you're in prison, man, it's a different world. And you're forced to do things that you not necessarily want to do, but you have to do for the self-preservation of your safety and security of oneself. That's just how it is. That's how it was taught to me, and that's facts. Anyways, we're going to end it there. We'll definitely do a part 3 on this guy. Let me know if you guys want to continue to hear what this guy's talking about. It seems like he has a whole lot of stories. He's as real as it gets. I can't deny anything he says. Big Herc, on the other hand, right? I'm just kidding. Big Herc's a real one too. You know what I mean? And in that fashion. Anyways, with that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. I hope that you get every single thing that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, it's just a reaction, gente. It's just a reaction. It's me reacting to what I'm seeing with you guys. We watch it together, and I react on the spot. You know what it is, man. I appreciate you guys. Tap into Gunners Collective, where I really get it in. I'm dropping banger for banger, content for content every day. And I'm going to continue to strive and struggle for what I truly and honestly believe in, and that's bringing all people together. Even the woods, brother. Because I got love for you guys, man. Ain't no doubt. He was on the other side of the yard, but from a distance, I said, hey, what's up, wood? Shh, don't tell my people. And it was all good in the hood, man. If you like this, please hit a like and subscribe. Tap in. We're going to be doing these daily, man. Thumbs up for the one time for your mind. If not, thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive and struggle and bring everyone together. Thank you for reacting with your boy, The Gun. Bang, bang.